Good morning, YouTube viewers. Good morning, Facebook Nation. Good morning to everyone that's out there. Beautiful Friday morning. Glad that everybody out there is safe and enjoying this weather. Get out, breathe. We need this. So good morning to all people, all races, all languages across the world. Thank you. And thank you as well to the viewers that are overseas. I never want to leave you out. And as well, thank the people in my life specifically who, make my day better. You guys, big ups and good morning to you. Today's topic, before we start, click like, subscribe, share. A lot of different topics on the playlist talking about things that we go through in life. And speaking of which, it ties in with today's topic because, I had a conversation yesterday with my son, and he's like, I'm trying to explain one thing to him. And he's like, but wait a minute, you're all over the place. You're saying something that doesn't even have to do with this. And what I'm trying to get us, the viewers, in, if you watch my videos, is that all these things are connected. And when you connect all these things, you get a different view, you get a different outlook on life. And that's what this topic is about today. It's about growth. So today's topic is, how dangerous is it when a person feels they have all the answers? So an example of this is like meeting a person, and the person, you met this person at a coffee shop, but you see the person every day, beautiful personality, just an all-around good person. But then, as time goes on, you get to know the person, and the person just hates coffee, just hates it. Never drank it before, never tried it before, just hates it. And when he sees people drinking it, even though he's in a coffee shop, he'll make a comment, which takes away from the good in that person. So this is how we respond to these things. So today's topic is how you respond to these things where a person is so shut down that they can't see. So this is all a part of growth. But there's a key to this, because we're so quick to throw advice out there, and we're going to find why these things don't work, but we're going to find out ways how to make these things work. So to get back to the conversation, my son had said to me, during the conversation, he made a statement, and the statement was, I'm happy. Why would you school me where, I'm where I need to be, which is true. He's exactly where he needs to be, accomplish everything that, you can wish for a young man to accomplish. Beautiful person as well. So, I'm proud in every way. But my response was, I'm proud in all in which you have achieved, not only as a dad, but also as a man. But the reason to always encourage growth to the ones that we care about, the ones whom we, and who we come in contact. It doesn't have to be just, specifically, relation to blood or relation to significant other. It could be, whatever contact or whatever contact you come in with another individual. It is always to encourage positivity in everything. You always want to bring positivity, always. If that's you, then always bring it, because it's a part of who you are, and that's how, everything around you is created. That's how your world is created. So we encourage positivity. We encourage a person to think situations through, gather factual information, and to process what is learned through happiness. Again, we talk about all these subjects about, why people do what they do in life, why this happens or why that happens. But no one ever talks about how happiness applies. It's almost like it's non-existent. But today, we're going to learn about that, and we're going to hear a lot about happiness, because it sounds like a corny word, but it's actually what it is that everybody in this world is looking for. Think about that one. The word that we think is corny makes no variance, but at the same time, this is what we're searching for. Thinking. So let me put it to you like this, of how this works and what it is that I'm saying. At one time, all of us, go back to when we were young, we were in love. Relationships that are no longer there. We were in love at one time, so we can remember. So let's get to that point. Now, we knew that we were in love with this person beyond doubt. No one can tell us differently. And then finally, we're with that person, So no matter what people said, it was like, oh, she's not good for you. We don't hear those things. We don't want to hear anything. We know that, hey, we're on cloud nine. Everything is beautiful. We're in love. So now, Your mother will turn around, you introduce, and your mom says, hey, son, she's a nice girl, but she's not for you. Now you ignore that. You're like, yeah, mom, yeah, right. Now the father says to his daughter, he's like, honey, something about that guy that rubs me the wrong way. So the parents again, oh no, he's, people told me he's just misunderstood. You're just misunderstanding him. He's really nice to me. So now time goes on, and these two individuals, they end up getting hurt. The relationship is over. No matter what was said, it's because their mind was not open. It was completely shut down. And this is what we're talking about when we say you can talk about anything, but the process of the mind is still the same. There's something in that individual that's shut down, no matter what it is. Even though you're giving sound advice, they're not hearing it. So this is what we're talking about today when we're talking about growth and how growth applies, but you have to use happiness in order to take on that next step, or you stay stunned in where you are. And that's where your happiness is created from, not allowing yourself to get to a greater happiness, which is peace of mind. And that's what we're really after, peace of mind. So we all related to, what that scenario was of, the girlfriend, boyfriend situation. So, we go on, in that situation. There was nothing else for those two individuals to learn. They had all the answers. I'm grown. That's just the fact. I'm grown. Don't worry about me. I know it all. And again, once the relationship is over, it's like, who do they go to? And this is why we find ourselves stuck. So part of growth is always leaving the door open, not to have that I told you so, or hey, and that's the kind of mentality that we live in now, where it's like, we push it, and when we push it, when it turns out to be, hey, they were correct, the person that, you push this stuff on, they're not going to come back to you because of the way that you pushed it on them. So, the way of growth is to be an example of the growth that you are and say, hey, well, look, this is how I do it, this is what works for me. But at the same time, maybe, you can look at, a situation in this way and take whatever you can from it. Maybe it'll help you. That's the way we grow. And that's the way that interaction of growth should be between any individual, to have that give and take. But you have to be an example of what it is that you're asking. I'm going to say that again as we go on. So let's look at today's reality of how this is processed. No one on this earth is grown, knowing it all. Not one single person. What they have in this day and age is they have created what is known as an edge on life. And that's what many people are in. They're in this gerbil wheel. And they're in this wheel, and this wheel is running by manipulation, greed, and selfishness. And that's what they call that edge on life. That manipulation, selfishness, and that greed, that me first attitude. So they use this process like, mortar, like cement to lay bricks, to build their foundation. Yet, there is no happiness within that building. There is no happiness whatsoever, only competition. And does this sound familiar? Because we see it in families today. So, the bad things that we do is a learned behavior. We're learning things from the higher ups and how they do things. That's why it's so bad for us, because there's so many different layers before they get to us that we just don't even care about one another. Now it ties into why you see so many mass shootings, why you see, so much lawlessness going on. So growth is to say, hey, I live this way. You know my growth. You see me growing. Growth does not mean that a person take on someone else's path or growth in life. And you should never, like I said, we should always be growing. We should always be evolving, us, the individual, not what somebody else is pushing on you. And this is what this channel stands for. We're not here to give you advice to say, hey, look, this is how you do your life. No, you know your life. Use, look at how this situation is, compare, and then, formulate something. But at least it'll get a little bit better. And this is what we say. We can't give you all the answers because the answers are in you. So, you can't take on my growth. My growth won't work for you. My path in life also will not work with you. So when someone says to you, hey, I have all the answers, follow me, this is the way, that's already saying, hey, I submit to your brainwashing because I'm taking your path, I'm taking your growth, instead of saying, hey, explain your growth and let me apply it to my life. And this is what we should do. This is what growth is. So growth is saying keep happiness in the picture. So whenever you're interaction, again, the guy with the coffee in the beginning, where you're trying to insert to say, hey, look, if you've never tried coffee, for them it tastes good, but for you it doesn't taste good. But for you to feel this way about it, it takes away from me coming in and being around a pleasant person. We have conversation, but then you go off into la la land. So the interaction is where where that same interaction is that you're an example of what it is that you do. So when you make the comment, it's not so much the focus on what it is that you're saying. The focus is on the fact that the person that is hearing this knows that you're just that person. So you're not asking. So it's almost like him saying, okay, I hate coffee, and then so you say, well, hey, I hate that person's shoes. That's a hypocrite. So again, growth is a part of being who you are when you ask of others. So, and also to keep happiness in all that you do based on the choices and decisions in your life. You keep happiness in there. Don't take it out. So love and positivity are the two hardest muscles to train in our bodies. So much, in fact, no longer many people believe that they don't even exist anymore, that love and positivity are just not there, like almost like the Grinch, by a humbug. There are actually people out there who live that every day in misery. Bad way to be, a sad way to be, but hey, life has its turns. So love and positivity, happiness encompasses both of those attributes, and by keeping your focus on happiness, you've already encompassed those things, because what happiness does is it allows one to care about another, allowing one to enjoy life, allowing one to be just in all matters of life. Happiness equals success equals wealth. So today's video is focused on how to look at growth interaction in a different way. How we're growing, but we want to bring others with us, or we want to learn something from the way another person is growing, because it works back and forth. Growth should be, especially when it comes to relationships, growth should be a thing that is constantly, one person is bringing one person, and you're constantly going. So that's the way we see it in a different way. And how when we do interact with others, we ourselves are obligated to be an example of whatever it is we are asking of others in all matters. Leaving you all with this: change in this world begins and ends with us. Begins and ends. And by understanding what happiness means to you, not me, what happiness means to you, your goals, your outlook on life will become reflective of this happiness, which equals success, which equals wealth, and that's the way that life should be. So, this topic right here was like kind of, again, I can see where I'll go from here and I'll go there to tie things in. But they all tie into growth. Everything that we do in life, everything that happens ties into one another. There's no one situation that's different from another. And a great philosopher once said that there's nothing new under the sun. And that's what that encompasses. But the one thing that isn't new is happiness. We've since the beginning of time, people have been trying to achieve it. And, some have and some haven't. And we want that, happiness. And happiness begins with us acknowledging that happiness exists. And that's where growth comes from. That's where conversation comes from. That's where everything that comes forth out of you comes from. So if it's coming out of happiness, then that is the world that you're creating. If it's not coming out of happiness, if it's coming out of mystery, insecurity, or massive walls everywhere, then this is what you're presenting to the world. And that's not happiness, so there's no happiness in you. And sometimes the first thing that comes out of a person's mouth can say volumes on what that person is feeling and how that person feels. So by understanding these things, it allows us to know where a person or what situation and how situations should be, situated in our lives. So with that, everyone, hopefully it wasn't too long of a video. I want to get everything started. I got a lot of stuff to do today. I know that you have a lot of stuff today to do. Get out there and do it, and be nice to one another. bring happiness about. Happiness is something that, is achievable. Let's all achieve it. And with that, everyone have a beautiful day. Have an awesome day. With that, everyone, peace and blessings.